A call to order this meeting of the Washington Township Board of Education. This is our regular school board meeting on Wednesday, September 24th at 2025. It is exactly 6 p.m. All 5 board members are present here in the room, and we'll begin with the pledge.
It's over there.
Oh, they moved it. It's weird. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Okay, we were going to begin one last thing. It is our custom, the first meeting of each month, we do read our mission statement as a reminder. And since we have a new one, it's even more important to be reminded. So, Ms. Worth Kruger.
Thank you, Madam President. The mission of Washington Township Schools is to nurture our students into tomorrow's leaders by cultivating environments that ignite innovation, amplify diverse and critical thinking, and inspire growth and achievement.
And with that, the first item of our agenda will celebrate some of that growth and achievement. And we have some board recognitions. Dr. Pettigrew.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board. Dr. Taylor, we're excited to have quite a few recognitions tonight. And so we're going to get started with the North Central Panthers flag football team. So they have made history as the first in school history, and they've already making waves, earning recognition as one of the top ranked teams in the state. They are led by head coach Jason Ashley, a dedicated educator from West Lane Middle School, and the team has thrived thanks to his tireless commitment. He was named head coach last spring. We didn't know if there would be a stipend available, but that didn't matter to Coach Ashley. His passion for the sport and belief in his student athletes drove him to pour his time and energy into building this program. He's held weekend practices, attended coaching clinics, and even joined North Central coaches at the Kicking the Stigma Conference at the Colts Complex in July, all to give our students the best experience possible. His efforts have not gone unnoticed. On September the 12th, 2025, Coach Ashley was named the Colts Flag Football Coach of the Week by the Indianapolis Colts. Congratulations to Coach Jason Ashley. These incredible student athletes have also helped lay the foundation for something truly special at North Central. So we'll start with our seniors, and I will apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. Seniors, Tanaya Shirley, Brianna Hampton, Hayden Middleton, Cassidy Daniels, Kamari Shaw, Micaiah Baker, Jaleese Taylor, Kaylee Warren, Yolani Reyes, manager. Our juniors, Imari Jones, Victoria Dunas, Aaliyah Evans, Olivia Boyd, Melanie Royston, Hamani Smith, Taryn Holland, Hale Howard, Wadeli Reyes, Cherish Williams, Tykia Brasford, and manager Journey Crossley. Our sophomores, Jerica McPherson, Imani Williams, Ella Walker, Erin Davis, Michaela Allen, Amaya Highball, and 2 freshmen, Deanna King and Yelania Howard.
I think we can stay sitting. We're not going to be seen anymore. They won't see us.
Super Bowl.
There's a lot going on right now.
Congratulations, guys.
Get your cameras out.
Doors and windows. And then a squat.
One, two, three.
That's okay. Like I didn't start the handshake. Sorry.
Let's give them one more round of applause for our North Central flag football team.
Congratulations, lady. Which I see when we don't bring that back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our second recognition is Miss Jessica Mang. We are excited to share the news that she, as a school counselor at True North Academy, has been selected as the 2025 Trailblazer Counselor of the Year by the Indiana School Counselor Association. This prestigious award honors exceptional school counselors across Indiana for their outstanding service, leadership, and impact within the school community. Each year, they present 3 School Counselor of the Year awards, one for each level, elementary, middle, and high school, to counselors who run exemplary programs. Ms. Mang has earned the Trailblazer Award, which recognizes a school counselor with fewer than 5 years of experience. Her dedication, innovation, and commitment to student success make her a shining example of what it takes to lead and inspire. Congratulations. Our third recognition is Miss Ruth Brewer, 6th grade English language arts teacher at West Lane Middle School. Ms. Brewer has been recognized as the first ever Readable English literacy rock star. The Readable English was founded to improve how students learn to read by transforming written English into a system where they can read. This innovative approach empowers learners of all backgrounds to achieve literacy more quickly and effectively. Readable English has impacted thousands of students worldwide, unlocking the potential for them through the power of reading. Ms. Brewer's commitment to her ENL students is making a profound difference. One student recently shared, "It's like a cheat code to know the sounds I don't know. That's my game." Ms. Brewer said the moment brought her to tears. This recognition is a powerful reminder of the life-changing impact that great educators like Ms. Brewer have on their students. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Extra time.
We would also like to recognize the following community partners who have served as steering committee members for this year's Back to School Bash held at the Jordan YMCA. The planning committee leaders, if you'll come forward, Matt Morick from Jordan YMCA, Susan Peters from St. Luke's United Methodist Church, Fran Kendrick from Second Presbyterian Church, Catherine Booker from Second Presbyterian Church, Lisa Enright from Second Presbyterian Church, Joy Perry from the Jordan YMCA, Emily Kaiser from the WTS Foundation, and Benny Silver from Indianapolis Hebrew Congregation. This year's event welcomed 624 children and was supported by over 50 volunteers who helped create a fun and welcoming experience for families. They had access to health screenings, school supplies, clothing, community resources, food, games, and YMC activities throughout the day. We are especially grateful for your commitment. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And as they take their picture, we want to also recognize our additional partner organizations that also contributed to making the event a success. Action Health Center, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Be Smart for Kids, Cummins Behavioral Health, Eastern Star Church, Grassroots Projects, Indiana Department of Child Services, Indianapolis Hebrew Congregation, JCC Indianapolis, Jump Bunch, WTS Student Services, Pike Township Lions Club, Scout Troop 56560, Target, United Women in Faith, and again, the WTS Foundation. That concludes our tremendous recognitions. Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is we are happy to welcome some new school resource officers, and we will be doing their oath and swearing in. If Officer Burris and Davis would like to join me. Ladies first. All right. Heather Burris. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
Heather Burns,
do solemnly swear that I will support and uphold
that I do solemnly swear to support and uphold
the constitutions of the United States and the state of Indiana,
the constitutions of the United States and the state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
with fairness, integrity,
fairness, integrity,
diligence, and impartiality,
diligence, and impartiality,
upholding the laws of the state of Indiana,
holding the laws of the state of Indiana,
and abide by the policies and procedures
and abide by the policies and procedures
of the Metropolitan School District of Washington Township.
of the Metropolitan School District of Washington.
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without mental reservation purpose of evasion.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, God. We'll do a picture with him. Jeez. You gonna be sick? One from the middle. Your knee shot. And Officer Davis. Ready? Right. The biggest test is remembering the words, right? Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will support and uphold the constitutions of the United States and the state of Indiana, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office with fairness, integrity, diligence, and impartiality, upholding the laws of the state of Indiana, and abide by the policies and procedures of the Metropolitan School District of Washington Township. Of the Metropolitan School District of Washington Township. I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations. Point of order, for those of us wondering, we usually try to dress professionally for school board meetings, but Dr. Taylor informed us it is Show Your Colors Day,
College Go Week.
Colors Week. So some of us chose to show our colors, so forgive us that we are not
In my colors, just not.
less professionally dressed today. Okay, moving on to our school spotlight. Mr. Funk, J. Everett Light Career Center. Let's hear what you guys got going.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. Also, this would be the time in the meeting, although we love having people at our meetings. And if you want to listen to all of our fascinating board business, you are welcome to stay. But if you would rather not, this is a great time to slip out. Thank you.
Or after school spotlight too. We're gonna have a It's okay.
Oh, hey, they told me to. They
I know.
public spotlight.
Oh.
They really consider.
There were desperate people in here. Yeah.
Sorry, we're having tech issues. It's great. It worked
Yeah,
perfectly.
it's good. Good time. Good time.
Okay. Dr. Taylor, Madam President, members of the board, it's my pleasure to shine the spotlight on the J. Everett Light Career Center. I'd like to share some celebrations with you this evening. Starting out with our staff, want to focus on our 2025 Washington Township Teacher of the Year, Vicki Massey. As you can see, she has gotten many accolades: ACF Educator of the Year, Pro Start Teacher of the Year, Black Excellence in Education, Golden Ticket Qualifier, competing in the World Food Championships. And her latest is she is one of 314 women in a program selected based upon small business participation. She's currently in classes at NYU. She'll be graduating in December with an emphasis on financial literacy, networking, and knowing her why. Dr. Taylor, I knew you'd like to hear that. She's going to know her why when she graduates from NYU. And she's here with us tonight. Andrew Rice with his Harbor Freight Tools Teaching Excellence with the $50,000 award that we received. We were proud of that because we continue to use those dollars to promote student success when we recognize them for getting industry recognized certifications. We use that to buy them hats, clothing, tools, and things like that. Recently, Ken Acton just received the Indiana ACT Carl Perkins Award for Community Service. Mr. Desmond Jones is Meritorious Leader. And Nicole Cooper, the Janine Dawes Outstanding Service Award. Also, our students, as you can see, participate in Skills USA. We have top 15 at the Skills USA regional competition. And I did want to point out, we had one state Skills USA winner and champion in collision repair, who's currently working at Tutwiler Cadillac and will be finishing there his time at J. Everett Light. He'll be working full time for them. BPA, 3 first place winners. We continue to participate in HOSA and have many winners there. 20 students attend our International Leadership Conference with Eastwood Middle School. School community, our EMT program and health careers partnered with the Indiana State Police, SWAT team and IMPD doing a training and mass casualty incident over at Hilltop School when it was vacant. Culinary arts program and building facilities and maintenance are working together, collaborating with Greenbrier Elementary, working on a project where they built raised beds and also a garden shed. And then they're going to be using the goods that come out of the garden there and bring it back to J. Everett Light. And they're going to cook that with the culinary arts students. So we're going to do some cross-curricular things with the elementary and high school students. Our CNA program and medical assisting is working with patient care support partnership with IU Health. So their second year in their capstone program, they're working there and they're not in the classroom. So we're working on getting those apprenticeships out there and we're proud of those. As we look at that, focused achievement for all, our goal progress and some data here, 98% of our students earned passing grades. You can see the breakdown. We've got 93.2% of our students earned a C or higher, on track to complete box 3 for grad pathway. We're increasing our dual credit attainment last year by 15.4%. Great numbers there. Increased work-based learning experiences by 15.68%. And we've increased our industry recognized certification attainment by 8.89%. Top 5 programs earning certifications: culinary arts, vet careers, auto repair, certified nursing assistant, auto service technology in our top 5, auto service tech, cosmetology, and medical assisting. So we're proud of that as we work on helping support the graduation diploma. Data challenges for our continued school improvement emphasis is to increase our embedded work-based learning hours. For the 2025 average, as it was 150. That was our goal. We're going to document 500 work-based learning hours in 25-26 to help students meet the requirement for the Employment Plus seal on the new graduation diploma. Also working with North Central ELL team to increase the number of ELL students who obtain dual credits and certifications as we collaborate with that department to provide PD for our staff, reading of ILPs, identify all ELL students, and we're going to meet with them twice a semester to do a check-in on attendance, gain dual credits, and also help them to increase their certification attainment. So we do that kind of like a non-traditional group. If we've got girls in welding or we got guys in cosmetology, we started this group here to be similar to what that group is. So that's our goal progress. School improvement practices, we continue to do our embedded academic support in our CTE programs, integrating literacy, math, employability skills with our CTE lessons rather than treating them separate. Access to industry recognized credentials for all of our students, and data-driven intervention early. We want to get with and find out who's falling behind academically and on their technical competency so we can catch that early and give them a chance to test and retest to increase our dual credits and certifications, again, to meet those requirements for the new diploma. And this is the best part of the presentation. This is our special recognition. And I wanted to bring up to the stage, this is portrait of a panther. And that is Michaela Drawn. Can you come forward? A little bit about Michaela. This is from her teacher, who's here tonight, Tracy Phillips. She says that Michaela is a bright, kind young lady. She's always present at school and comes in with a smile on her face. She is helpful with other students at all times. She's a leader in the dental classroom. When Michaela speaks, other students listen. She gets along very well with the whole PM class. There's more. She gets along very well with the PM dental class and has formed a strong bond with some of the second-year dental students. She listens to the dental externs and knows what to expect next year when she's going to be working in a dental office. She always participates in class, answers questions, and asks great questions involving dentistry. She makes me smile every day. She's very interested in HOSA. I'm sure she will succeed in high school and college. She learns quickly. She is such a pleasure to have in class. Michaela Drawn.
Let us know where you work so we can come to you.
I was about to say, I need to know what dental office we go to.
Kayla, woo! Good job.
Yeah.
So great. Oh, wait a minute.
Right.
You guys want to come? You guys, yeah, come on.
Please.
And while they're coming, Mr. Funk, we expect you to report back to us where she's working so we
Right.
can all go there for our
So we
team.
can all
Yes,
have a
ma'am.
dentist. Aw, yes, give them the flowers. Aw. Hey, family.
Come on, teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah, come on.
No, we're gonna make her. We're gonna make her. Thank you. No, come on, come on, come on.
All right.
Michael. Michael.
Thank you. Thank you for.
She did.
She did.
Lovely, lovely. Congratulations.
Okay. Next is our above and beyond parent. I'd like to bring up to the stage Derek and Erin Hammer. Derek and Erin Hammer of Hammer Metalworks have been outstanding partners to the J. Everett Light Career Center, consistently going above and beyond for the betterment of our students and school community through their business. Students gain valuable opportunities to shadow and experience firsthand the advanced metalworking technologies being applied in real-world settings. The Hammers also play a key role in supporting our annual Midwest Welding competition and generously provide employment opportunities for students after graduation. Their connection to JEL runs deep, as their daughter is a proud graduate of the welding program and is now pursuing a degree in construction management at Ball State University. The Hammer family's dedication reflects their commitment to student success and the future of the skilled trades. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything.
I'm not a mad person.
There we go.
And I'd like to bring up our supportive partnership next. And our supportive partner is Chef London. Chef London, if you'd like to come forward and Chef London has been an invaluable supporter of the culinary arts program at J. Everett Light Career Center. He's generously volunteered his time as a mentor, assisted with securing donations and food products for our food fight competition and consistently look for ways to contribute to the student experience. Chef London's passion for culinary education and his ongoing commitment to supporting students make him an exceptional partner to the J. Everett Light Career Center. We are grateful for his dedication, mentorship, and advocacy for the next generation of culinary professionals. Thank you, Chef London. And lastly, our Washington Township partnership through the foundation. I'd like to thank them for all the great things that they do. Our JEL staff use their teachers' treasures memberships to secure $6,000 worth of school supplies for the JEL classrooms. 5 grant requests were funded totaling $12,770. Several of these grants included certification support and training opportunities for cosmetology, EMT, culinary, and automotive. And lastly, Healthcare Hero Scholarship was awarded to the class of 2025's Natalie Stevenson for her continued education in the healthcare field. We applaud the Washington Township Foundation. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting us shine a spotlight on the J. Everett Light Career Center, and folks that we spotlighted tonight, I'd like to get a picture out front if I may. Okay. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Mr. Funk. Next item on the agenda would be superintendent's announcements.
Thank you, Board President. Good evening, Board. Good evening, Washington Township School community. For my announcements tonight, I'd like to start with a reminder of something I shared with our community during back to school season. And that is that we have progress reports going out to all students in grades 3 through 12, starting this month. And so we have students, some may not be very excited to hear about this, but students who have below a 60% or have missing assignments, their parents will start getting weekly updates until that gets remedied. And then all students will receive, and again, that's students grades 3 through 12 will receive a monthly progress report at the first of each month, starting October 1, so that we're doing a better job of regular ongoing communication with our families regarding student progress as we continue to grow Panthers. I want to invite our board to come out to our third Drive the Bus event, where we invite our community to come out, learn about what it takes to drive a bus, actually get to check out a bus, and even drive around the parking lot a little bit assisted if you are so courageous. But that is a great event. We've been able to bring on 1 to 2 drivers through these events. And so that is coming up Saturday from 9 to 1 p.m. And just wanted to invite the board and our community to that. We are nearing the closing of our Panorama Student Survey. It's been fun to see. The high school has had a little competition on participation using the house system. And so we have high levels of engagement with our student survey. That's done twice per year. And we use that data primarily to work on school-wide goals. And our counselors dive into that data to figure out how to best help the whole child. And so we are nearing the end of our round 1 survey. And that is part of our strategic plan under Rigorous Learning for All, as we use that data for our MTSS, or multi-tiered systems of support process that we have in place. Wanted to give a kudos, and I think he just left, to Mr. DeLay and the Washington Township Adult Ed team. That staff was recently recognized. They received a designation as an Indiana Adult Education Program of Excellence for last school year by the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. And so a big kudos there. You can read the qualifications for that and continue to do great work there at our adult ed facility there at the service center. And then finally, I wanted to share some data with you on chronic absenteeism. You have data there from our state, which is a breakdown. Chronic absenteeism, that's defined by students who miss 18 or more school days a year. And you can see the improvements made by the state since 2022. I did an analysis on our improvement comparison since 21-22 as well. And though we have a little bit to celebrate, we still have quite a bit of work to do, as we outlined in our strategic plan that we wanted to move from 94 to 97%. I wanted to highlight that final bullet there for you and our community, where it says students who are chronically absent are significantly less likely to read by third grade, master key English language arts and math skills, or be college ready. So again, just wanted to stress the importance of strong attendance in our schools. And that concludes our superintendent announcements this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next agenda item is comments from the public. Did we have a sign-in sheet tonight? No.
We did.
Okay, nobody had signed in, but was there anybody here who would like to address the board from the public? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is approval of the consent agenda. Dr. Kaiser.
Thank you, President Fry, members of the board. I recommend that you approve consent agenda for this meeting. This consent agenda includes approval of minutes of the August 27, 2025 regular meeting, approval of 3 payroll calculation summary reports, a claims docket in the amount of $12,190,583.04, a special personnel item in accordance with Indiana Code 20-26-5 through 11.2, a board memo on executive leadership restructuring or proposed executive leadership restructuring for the Teaching and Learning Division, a human resources report that contains for classified personnel 24 new hires, numbers 96 through 119, 14 resignations, numbers 43 through 56, 1 retirement, number 1, 5 terminations, numbers 5 through 9, and 5 leaves, numbers 7 through 11. For certified personnel, 3 new appointments, numbers 94 to 96, 7 resignations, numbers 13 through 19, and 1 maternity, child rearing, or adoption leave, number 9. There are no non-competitive grants, gifts, or donations to present to the board for approval this evening.
Board, any questions on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented by Dr. Kaiser.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Consent agenda is approved. Thank you. All right. Our next agenda item is a little meeting within a meeting. So I will call to order our 2026 budget hearings, which Mrs. Smith will present.
Yes, thank you very much. Before we actually open the budget hearings, I just want to do a small review of the process that we have done for the budgets. The budgets consist of 3 major steps. And this is, the first step was last board meeting in August was the budget workshop and permission to advertise. Since then, the budgets have been advertised on the Indiana Gateway site and also on our district's website. And then the second major step is this evening where we hold the budget hearings. And then the last step is the adoption that the board is set to do on October 15th. And then at the very end of the year, the Department of Local Government Finance issues the final approved budget order by the end of December. So the 3 things that we do this evening for the public hearings is the 2026 budgets that were published and advertised, the capital projects plan for 2026 through 2028, and the bus replacement plan 2026 through 2030. And just a reminder, one of our major funds is our education fund, where our major source of revenue is our state tuition support, which is calculated based on our average daily membership, our ADM. And so far, our fall count looks to remain close to our last fall count. Even though that count is taken on October 1st, It'll be finalized later in October of 2025. And then the education fund, what expenditures come out of that fund? What is it used for? Just like it sounds, it's all the expenses that are aimed directly towards students, the buildings, the people in the buildings, all that from the school level. And then also our operations fund is our other major fund, and it is a property tax fund. So we receive money from property taxes, which this fund, it has a maximum levy, maximum property tax. And also the circuit breaker impact reduces our collections, and the approximate amount for 2026 is $2.8 million. And just a reminder, this fund also receives revenue from our education fund, where we're able to do by Indiana code, money transferred from our state tuition from our education fund into our operations fund. In 2019, we developed 2 new funds. It used to be the old general fund, the capital projects fund, transportation operating fund, and bus replacement. They took 4 categories from the old general fund. 2 of those categories, they made the new education fund. That's all those expenditures that I talked about from aimed at the school level. And then the other 2 categories moved over into the new operations fund, along with the capital projects old fund, transportation operating's old fund, and bus replacements old fund. So with that, the tuition, the revenue still comes into the education fund, even though those 2 categories were moved over to the operations fund. So that is why we're able to transfer up to 15% to cover those expenditures from those 2 categories that moved over to the operations fund. The capital projects plan is a 3-year plan, and it lists equipment and projects that exceed $10,000 that would be paid out of the operations fund. The bus replacement plan is a 5-year plan, and we're anticipating replacing approximately 10 buses in 2026. And these are for buses that are 12 years old or older. And this is similar to what we've done in the past and similar spending amounts from our operations fund. Our referendum operating fund, we're in year 6 of 8, and this was our 2020 operating referendum fund, which has a tax rate of 25 cents. And this maintained what we had in a previous operating referendum, and then added additional staff and safety needs in 2020. Our debt service fund is our lease and bond payments that we fund other general maintenance items such as roofing, paving, upkeep of our buildings. You know, we're doing a lot with our capital referendum dollars. And then our debt service fund is a fund that we utilize to maintain those things that we're doing. If we're building additions to our building, all those different things that we have to upkeep after we do the initial renovations. And our future anticipated debt for our debt services to keep the taxes stable. Our referendum debt service fund, we had 2 different capital referendums passed, $185 million in 2016 and $285 million in 2020. We've conducted all of our final financing for those referendum debt capital projects, even though we're still in the process of doing those. So how we do that is, as we need the cash flow, then we sell bonds or leases to fund those projects. And we're still about a couple more years out of completing all those projects. So we're well on our way and have a lot that we've done, and you go around our district and see all the fruits of our labors there. Our rainy day fund is just like it sounds. It's just a rainy day fund that we utilize with excess dollars that may be in other accounts that we keep for a rainy day. This is not a taxable fund and has no tax rate. It just comes from excess proceeds from other funds. In the advertisements that we talked about on our website and the Public Gateway website, on our MSDWT website, you can find that under services, business services, and a budget tab. And it has everything from our budget workshop presentation to our Form 3, our notice to taxpayers, our capital projects plan, and our bus replacement plan. And this is an example of the notice to taxpayers that states for the 2026 budget. And it has information regarding when the hearing is taking place, which is this evening, when the adoption date is, which is October 15th, and then and date and time for all of that. And then the bottom portion of the notice to taxpayers is our, it lists our budget estimate, our estimated levies to be raised, and our current levies, and when it was published. Our capital projects plan also has a notice to taxpayers that was published. And then this is actually the 2-page projects that were over $10,000 that we are able to, if warranted, pay out of our operations fund. And this is a generalized list. This doesn't mean that all of this will be done out of our operations fund. We could do some of these items out of a bond or a lease later on, but this gives us the opportunity, if we so choose and have the funds available, to be able to do these projects out of operations fund. And then you'll see the equipment also that's listed for the capital projects plan for the 3 years. Bus replacement plan mimics the capital projects plan. It has the notice to taxpayers. And then it also has the 5-year plan, so it lists the buses to be replaced. The first page here is the first 3 years. The second page is the last 2 years, along with the totals and the number count. And then our last step would be the budget adoption that we plan to have at our next board meeting on October 15th. So that is the end of the refresher that we had for the budgets from our previous board meetings. And then now I would ask the board president to open and close 3 separate hearings as noted on the screen.
Got it. Yes, we will next hold 3 separate public hearings, allowing members of the community an opportunity to comment on or ask questions regarding the Form 3 advertised budgets and levies, the capital projects plan, and the bus replacement plan. So I will begin with, I'm going to call to order the hearing on, the Form 3 advertised budgets and levies, calling that one to order. Are there any members of the public who would like to be heard on that? Seeing none, I will close that hearing. I will now call to order the public hearing on the capital projects plan. Do I have any members of the public who were here to comment on the capital projects plan? Seeing none, I will close that hearing. And last but not least, I will call to order the hearing on the bus replacement plan. Was there anyone who would like to comment or ask any questions on the bus replacement plan? Seeing none, I will close that hearing. And I believe that concludes those 3 required hearings.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then the next agenda item would be an additional appropriations hearing on the general obligations bonds. Ms. Smith, again.
Thank you very much. In the last couple board meetings, we have been doing the necessary steps to issue our 2025 general obligation bond out of our regular debt service. One of those requirements is to hold an additional appropriation hearing this evening. The notice was published in the newspapers on September 12th and in our 2 newspapers and on our district's website. So I would ask that the board president hold the additional appropriation hearing, open and close that as presented.
All right. I call to order the additional appropriation hearing. Is there anyone present who wanted to be heard in regards to the additional appropriations resolutions? Seeing none, I will close that hearing. Ms. Smith.
Thank you very much.
All right, I believe that concludes that hearing, so we're ready for the action items. Is that correct? Okay, so moving on to the action items. In association with that prior hearing, we now do have 2 resolutions to approve, and I will allow you to present them, starting with the additional appropriation resolution.
Thank you very much. After the additional appropriation hearing, the school board must approve the appropriation of bond proceeds to be spent on the project costs before any bond money can be expended. Unlike appropriation of tax dollars, This additional appropriation of bond proceeds is not required to be approved by the Department of Local Government, only through this school board. So I would ask that the board approve Exhibit A, additional appropriation resolution as presented.
Board, were there any questions on this resolution for Ms. Smith? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve Exhibit A 2025 GOB additional appropriation resolution as presented by Mrs. Smith.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0, and that one is approved. And then Ms. Smith, the Exhibit B.
Thank you very much. For Exhibit B, the final bond resolution established the amount to be borrowed, maximum term of repayment, and maximum interest rate. It also contains the details about the bonds, such as the form of the bond. This resolution also approves the forms of the 16th supplement to master disclosure, undertaking, and registrar and paying agent agreement. The Securities and Exchange Commission requires that a school corporation enter into a master continuing disclosure undertaking before it issues bonds. The school corporation has entered into this type of agreement previously. It basically requires the school corporation to agree to annually provide certain types of financial information to the SEC EMMA's database and provide a notice of certain materials events on a timely basis. I would ask the board to approve Exhibit B final bond resolution as presented.
Board, any questions for Ms. Smith on that resolution? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve approval Exhibit B 2025 GOB final bond resolution as presented by Mrs. Smith.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion, board? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Smith. And you get to stay there for the next agenda item, but we are moving on from all the fun financial budget things. And we have an approval of an RFP for district legal counsel services.
Thank you very much. Just a history recap. The school appoints all legal service providers utilized by the school annually in July at a reorganization meeting. Current legal service providers is Bose McKinney and Evans, who is our school attorney, district counsel, Church, Hittle and Atrim, who is our special education attorney, and Ice Miller, who is our bond counsel. The school board approved an official letter of engagement with all of the legal service providers over the last several years. And then since then, we have had board members request an RFP to be done for our legal services. So this year, we planned and did timelines for the board to do district legal counsel services RFP. So we put that together. We did a timeline last year to note how long this process would take. And then here we are in 2025, where we have prepared a draft RFP that you have attached and revised timeline, such as issuing the official upon board approval RFP on our website by October 1st. Then we have certain legalities and timelines for a deadline for questions, responses to the questions that will be posted. Proposal submittal deadline would be January 16th, 2026. Then it will go into an evaluation period between the middle of January through the 1st of March. And then hold necessary interviews, additional information request periods in April and the 1st of May. And then we'll ask for the board's approval for the legal counsel in May to June of 2026 with the anticipated start date of July 2026. I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have. If not, I would ask for approval to be able to post this request for proposal for district legal counsel services as presented.
Board questions for Ms. Smith? Mr. Turner?
So it's kind of a comment and a question kind of combined. So by doing this is I guess a good fiduciary thing to do, to check on pricing, make sure that's all good. But in this term, when we do approve somebody for the next 10 years, there's always the option if a poor performance to change mid-cycle, if you will.
Absolutely.
And so with those kind of performance issues, I haven't seen them before. So I'm hoping that in the future, if there are performance issues, it's not strictly fiduciary or some other reasons, that the board would obviously get those saying, hey, the council, whether it's any of the three partners, I don't
Right.
remember any of them being in a situation like that. So it's kind of a question comment kind of thing, but just making sure that the board is aware of anything that's a negative performance.
Absolutely. Like you indicated, Mr. Turner, that this RFP process that we're going through isn't anything regarding past, practice or anything of performance issues with any of these. We're just doing our due diligence. We have not done one of these in a very, very long time. So we wanted to make sure that we had these on record to do them approximately every 10 years. To make sure that we're doing what we need to do fiduciary wise, and that we still have an opt out if for some reason we have any kind of performance issues, and that we would be notifying the board along the way if that arises.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve District Legal Council Services request for proposal as presented by Mrs. Smith.
Second.
Any further discussion? I just want to thank you, Ms. Smith, for putting this together. I know you kind of had to build this from scratch, so I appreciate that. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. 5-0, the ayes have it. Thank you. You may
Thank you very
publish
much.
the RFP. Thank you. And Dr. Kaiser, approval of second reading of revisions to board policies.
Thank you, President Fry. Dr. Taylor, President Fry, members of the board, I come to you this evening seeking approval via second reading of several revisions to board policies. These represent the remaining policy change recommendations based on this last legislative session. Specifically, the following revised policies were presented to the board with a first reading on August 27th, 2025, and are in your board documents this evening for review. These include B100, Board Authority and Philosophy, B150, Board Organization, B200, Membership, C425, Student Suicide Prevention and Awareness, D250, which is the Teacher Appreciation Grant. I would like to highlight for the board that that is a deletion. As we have shared previously, the state completely revised the Teacher Appreciation Grant process, thereby invalidating all Teacher Appreciation Grant policies in the state of Indiana. So all school districts are having to remove them and then resubmit once we have that full guidance from the state of Indiana. D325, which is personal background checks and mandatory reporting. F125, which is purchasing procedures and capital assets. G360, which is data breach and protection. And finally, C125, admission to the district. The full text of all policies are available in your board documents for this evening. And you also have a document including the red line versions of the policies highlighting the recommended revisions. This concludes my presentations of these policies, and I'm of course pleased to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Board, any questions? I know we had a chance to ask them last time on first reading. Mr. Thompson, did you have a question?
No.
Oh.
I was gonna make a comment, but it's okay.
Well, you can do it during discussion. How about that? Okay. So seeing no questions, I have a motion.
I move that we approve the second reading of revisions to board policies and policy-related forms B100, B150, B200, C425, D250, D325, F125, G360, and C125 as presented by Dr. Kaiser.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or comments? Okay. Seeing none, then, I'm sorry, go ahead. Ms.
Just a reminder that, yes, we went through a full policy revision last year. These were all minor changes due to the last legislative session. So most of them have not changed. It's just a lot of little minor details that we had to change.
No, thank you. It's always good to clarify because it's a lot of policy numbers and a lot of text. Okay, having been moved and seconded and having had discussion, I will now call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And the ayes have it 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Kaiser, and you get to stay up there next for approval of school calendars.
Thank you,
Always a
Ms.
popular item.
Absolutely. Thank you, President Fry, members of the board. I also come to you this evening seeking approval of our recommended 2026, 2027, and 2027, 2028 school year academic calendars. As we have done it in the past, we have brought 2 academic years for board approval at this time to allow us to share those calendars with the community now, to provide our families ample time to manage their own family calendars. In alignment with our past practice, the calendars in your documents this evening are the result of a great deal of review and collaboration with many Panthers in our community. We gathered feedback from our Washington Township Education Association throughout the calendar development process, beginning in the spring of last year and continuing through this past month. Drafts were also shared at our Parent Council Network for review in May to gather their feedback. The executive leadership team has been able to review and provide feedback 3 times, representing their unique areas of service to students. As you can imagine, along the way, we have had several staff members review the documents, trying to find any missed dates or typos, spacing, or presentation issues to make these calendars consistent and easy to use for both our staff, our students, and our community. In the notes for this evening, I've included both calendars, as well as highlighted some elements for your review. And as always, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Board, yes, Ms. Horst-Kruger.
Just the next steps, depending on the vote tonight, what is the plan to communicate this out to our community?
So generally, we would place those on the school district webpage in our calendars section, and then I could envision a future highlighting of that in our updates that we send to families every 2 weeks to highlight to folks that those calendars are available and they can find them there. Staff, we generally do an all-staff email to all of our staff communicating that those calendars are also available in those locations.
And would that happen fairly soon, depending on the vote tonight?
Yeah, I think in the past, post-board approval, we've done that within the 2 weeks after the board approves those to make sure that those are shared with the community.
Thank you.
And sorry, on the 26, 27, I'm looking at February 12th as a weather flex day. So that would be a day off if we don't have a makeup.
That is a day that we traditionally utilize if there is a day early enough in the year that we would actually have to cancel school. Now, that would be a true school cancellation day, not an e-learning day. If we had to do a true cancellation of school, then students would come in and staff would come in on that 12th. If we do not have any form of full day cancellation, then that 12th is a day that teachers and students do not.
Okay. And I guess I don't recall, have we done it that Friday before President's Day in the last few years?
We have a couple of times, and I think the feedback that we've gotten is it kind of creates a little bit of a 4-day weekend.
Yeah,
We'll
I see
appreciate that.
So, okay, thank you for that. Any other questions, board? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the school calendars for 26, 2027 and 2027, 2028 academic years as presented by Dr.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. And next up, we have Dr. Seaver, asking for approval for a professional development grant.
Good evening, President Fry, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. I'm here tonight to request approval to accept the Mindy Browning Professional Development Grant funds. The Mindy Browning Professional Development Grant is available for librarians in Marion County to provide or to attend professional development. The funds from this grant will be used to cover conference registration, materials, lodging, mileage, and per diem for our North Central High School media specialist and teacher librarian to attend the American Association of School Librarians Conference, which is the only national conference dedicated solely to the needs of school librarians and their roles as educational leaders. You will note that the North Central Media Specialists already applied for this grant actually and were awarded it just a couple of weeks ago, but in the future, they understand that we will present a board action item prior to the application deadline. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions, board? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the approval of the acceptance of the Mindy Browning Professional Development Grant Funds as presented by Dr. Seaver.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I'm just going to abstain because this is my employer.
Okay, thank you for that. Then I will call for the vote. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. And abstentions? So that is 4-1 abstention. That passes. Thank you. And Dr. Seaver gets to stay with us for an approval of the 220 Youth Leadership Scope of Work and Agreement.
Thank you. I'm also here to request approval of the 220 Youth Leadership Scope of Work and Agreement for the 25-26 school year. As we implement Indiana's new high school diploma requirements and honors seals, we remain committed to expanding educational opportunities while maintaining our high standards for instruction and meaningful teacher-student relationships. This proposal introduces Leadership 220, which is an online curriculum resource that will be directly facilitated by our educators, not as a replacement for live instruction, but as an additional tool that our work-based learning coordinators and teachers will use to deliver high-quality educational experiences tailored to diverse student schedules and learning preferences. This educator-facilitated approach of Leadership 220 will particularly benefit students whose schedules cannot accommodate traditional career pathways. For example, students deeply engaged in performing arts or pursuing the IB diploma may need flexible options to meet the work-based learning components of the new Honors Plus seals, if they so desire to earn one, while maintaining their focus on their specialized academic or artistic pursuits. So just to give an example of this, the Enrollment Plus seal is very similar to the Indiana Academic Honors Diploma that has been around in Indiana for a very long time. But the Plus version of this enrollment seal requires all of those kind of academic honors experiences plus 75 hours of work-based learning. So if you know a student, for example, who's in Counterpoints and perhaps also HOSA, we heard, or Business Professionals in America, and then also has to get the 75 hours of work-based learning, this provides an opportunity for those students to be able to have a flexible way of getting some of those hours. And they can take like 25-hour chunks, so they don't have to do all of their work-based learning using Leadership 220, but they could work with a work-based learning coordinator at North Central High School or the J. Everett Light Career Center to develop a plan that would work well for them. I want to go into a little more detail about the program because it has three very unique components to it. It offers three comprehensive options that align with Indiana's graduation requirements and integrate seamlessly into our current high school structure. So the first component is the mini courses. These are self-paced learning modules covering leadership, employability, personal finance, and other topics such as entrepreneurship and professional communication. This content can be integrated into house huddles, that's our new name for homeroom at North Central, as well as existing high school courses or independent study time under direct teacher supervision. This is similar to how our teachers currently use a resource like Zello during house huddle time to provide lessons that support college and career readiness. The second component of 220 Youth Leadership is the one semester courses. These are full credit standards aligned courses in personal finance, preparing for college and careers, and computer science that fulfill graduation requirements through engaging real world learning experiences facilitated by our educators. So to give you an example of this, if I'm a brand new teacher teaching computer science, it's really helpful if I'm given a nice package of resources to use in teaching that class. We already have a curriculum for computer science, but we know that they also need to supplement at times. And so this provides an additional tool that our teachers can use in those 3 courses. Or some teachers might choose, for example, in the Preparing for College and Careers course, to use a little bit more of the Leadership 220 program. And then the third component is the work-based learning component that provides up to 150 hours of simulated internship experience that meets Indiana's work-based learning requirements. Students can develop practical skills in business, marketing, sales, entrepreneurship, and social services while building professional networks under the supervision of our North Central and JEL work-based learning coordinators. So there actually are local professionals that are engaged in the Leadership 220 network that our students would be able to engage with. Leadership 220 will certainly only serve as one resource within our comprehensive approach to supporting student achievement of Indiana's honor seals. Our work-based learning coordinators and teachers will facilitate this curriculum alongside our continued commitment to in-person instruction, traditional classroom courses, and hands-on work-based learning experiences through partnerships with local industry professionals in both real and simulated workplace settings. So overall, I know that was a lot of information, but this is an educator-guided online option that expands our capacity to meet all students' diverse learning needs and scheduling requirements while preserving the quality instruction and personal connections that our community values. And with that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Board questions? Mr. Thompson?
Are there any alternatives that we looked at before we chose this solution?
There aren't really many other programs out there that offer this kind of comprehensive approach. But as I mentioned, this is only one piece of our overall approach to both these courses and the work-based learning components. So for example, we're partnering with Project Lead the Way for computer science. We've used Cello lessons in Preparing for College and Careers. So we have looked at other curricular resources. For the work-based learning component, we are also continuing, I see Mr. Winston is here, one of our fabulous partners in helping build industry partnerships here locally for live real workplace learning internships and apprenticeships. And so I guess what I'm saying is this is one piece of our overall puzzle, and there's not a whole lot of other options that do something similar to Leadership 220.
And then my second question was like for PCC, personal finance, this will supplement classroom instruction. There won't ever be a type like there's like enemy, like as credit recovery or something like that, where we'll just say, hey, you can sit online and take the PCC for one semester and get your credit.
Correct. We will have there will be an instructor assigned to any of these courses. So this is not like Indiana Online Academy where students enroll in a separate academy. We will have a Washington Township educator that oversees and teaches the students in this class. We are having conversations about whether or not we would want to do an online learning experience with these programs with summer school. That would be kind of a hybrid approach where students could engage with their teacher synchronously, but also engage in the Leadership 220 modules and lessons outside of that time at their own pace during that summer school window. So I could see summer school being one of the only timeframes when it would be students spending probably more time in the software and less time with their instructor, only because our students and families have shared that they like that hybrid approach during the
Similar to
summer.
like how we do health.
Correct.
Summer and it was acing.
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Turner?
Mr. Thompson's question has spurred this question, and I'm kind of browsing through the actual SOW. I'm sorry, if it's in here, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask that way we can get it on the record if you have it. But how will you measure that this is actually effective? Because as you mentioned, you're going to use potentially other tools and other resources. How will you know this actually move the needle?
Well, for one thing, we'll look at credit attainment and work-based learning hours attainment. So that's something that we already have in place to measure on an annual basis, is because we want to increase our number of students that are attaining 150 hours of work-based learning. And so we'll specifically disaggregate that data to see, how did our students gain those hours? Was it through Leadership 220? Was it through an internship or opportunity that they pursued on their own? Was it something that we set them up with through someone like Dr. Winston or one of our work-based learning coordinators? So that attainment would be one piece. And then another piece I would say is, but for work-based learning, definitely our coordinators seek feedback from students at the end of their experience, just to get more a qualitative take on, was it a meaningful experience for them?
I'm going to go ahead and throw my comment here because it kind of ties it. I just want to say yay. Thank you for having this to help the work-based learning coordinators. I think can be huge. That's why I want to know how you track if it's made a difference, because I can see how it could make a difference. And so I'm glad we found this and we're going to try it out.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Mr. Thompson.
As a matter of practice, how do you do like simulated workspace? How does that work?
So if you think about like any sort of, let's take business, for example. Well, maybe that's not the best example because I'm not a business person, but let's say finance. So people that are in the world of finance create lessons of what it would be like to be in the career as an accountant. And so some real world problem solving, some learning of academic vocabulary related or technical vocabulary related to that profession. Some maybe type out how you would respond to a client who this is their scenario in life in terms of financial literacy. And so I think when you think about, I remember Mrs. George Davis, you had a couple of questions a couple of weeks ago around project-based learning. And so this is an example of some guided project-based learning that would be done in an online environment.
My last question was, this is probably obvious, but the DOE approves this as like work-based learning, like an option for work-based learning.
So what the DOE has done is given us a definition of work-based learning. Includes multiple components, about 6 or 7 components. And then what Leadership 220 has done is designed their program around Indiana's definition of work-based learning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And then I have one question.
Oh,
If anybody else has- No, please. I wanted everybody else to go first. I'm looking particularly at the kind of 1 semester courses. And in the overview, which thank you for putting in here, there's a lot of detail, which I appreciate. It talks about it can be used in class with teachers in a hybrid format or a fully self-paced. I think what I'm hearing you say is that for right now, the plan is this is sort of something to hand off to our teachers to help them make it easier to start this brand new course. So for right now, this would only be used in the context of a student has a class period on their schedule for computer science or personal finance, or is it broader than that?
Yep. Nope. For right now, actually, before it goes out to teachers, it will start with our curriculum team because we already have curriculum and pacing guides for all 3 of these courses. They're all being offered currently in our schools. And so the first step will be our curriculum coordinators and instructional coaches will look at resources in Leadership 220, see what gaps it can fill or how it can supplement our current curriculum maps. And then they'll roll that out to our teachers just to highlight for them exactly where this would fit well and enrich the learning experience.
But then there's like a potential in the future for maybe if we like this to say, hey, this is something we could have students do outside of school or in the learning center or something like that. So it wouldn't have to take up a period on their schedule, or is that not even?
I think it would need to take up from it. Definitely, they will have to be assigned to a licensed educator.
Okay.
So it is not a self-directed program without a licensed educator. It is possible that a student could work on it at home if they were assigned a licensed educator. Like I'm thinking about some of our students at True North. We have an online virtual teacher who meets with them and checks in with them regularly, but they do most of their work. That would be an example of how we might use it in that way.
yeah, I just, like Mr. Thompson said, I see these as something that hopefully we can find ways to do the way we do kind of like the health and whatnot, where we do offer some students some alternative paths to get them in, because there are a lot of other opportunities they want to take advantage of out
That's-
there. Choirs and languages and all sorts of other things. So, and JEL programs. So, okay, any other questions? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the 220 Youth Leadership Scope of Work and Agreement for 2025-26 as presented by Dr. Seaver.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I would just like to say as a point of discussion, I think, again, thank you for sort of finding this. And I do appreciate, the dollar amount is not that big. And given that all schools are we're really, I mean, I know you've already started it, this year, but everybody's figuring out how we implement these new pathways. So to me, this is like, hey, for that amount of money to sort of test something out, see how well it works and sort of build our portfolio of ways, as we are still figuring out this plane, building the plane as we fly it. I did think that it seems like a very reasonable dollar amount to kind of give something a go and keep kind of finding all the strings we can pull and levers we can pull towards these new requirements. So thank you for that. With that, I will call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you for accepting our voluminous questions. And the next item on the agenda is the approval of our school improvement plans. Dr. Pettigrew.
Yes, good evening, Board President, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. This evening, I'm requesting your approval of our 25-26 school improvement plans for all Washington Township schools. These plans represent months of collaborative work between our building principals, their school committees, and our central office team. Our school improvement plan serves as a strategic roadmap that aligns each school's goals directly with our strategic plan. What makes this year's approach meaningful is our commitment to making these living documents. We've built in regular 45-day and 90-day check-ins throughout the year, allowing principals and improvement teams to adjust their strategies based on real-time data and emerging needs. Each plan identifies specific areas of growth, establishes measurable goals, and outlines targeted strategies to enhance student outcomes. Our process this year included comprehensive feedback from both our teaching and learning and student services departments, which building principals integrated into their revised plans. We also conducted virtual check-ins with all building administrators and central office staff to better understand their priorities and areas of concern as they began the school year. These plans represent our commitment to continuous growth and our dedication to providing every student with the education they deserve. At this time, I request the board's approval of our school improvement plans, and I am available for any questions.
Board, any questions?
I'll
Ms.
clarify
Hochberger?
one, and forgive me if you stated this and I missed it. So these school improvement plans are for our
Correct.
okay. So then they've just been developed. And I noticed that the measurement, you measure quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you align that with, we're already into the school year? So if you could just, how does that work?
So we're going to include our baseline data at the end of this year. So you'll notice in the plans, we don't have baseline data for 25-26. So we will include that at the end of this year, or actually by quarter, we'll take a look at all of their goals. And then we will take a look to see if there needs to be any modifications to the strategies that they have identified. And so that's part of the reason why it's the 45-90 days, so that they can take a look and see if there need to be changes based on what they're seeing real time. And we'll do that in October, December, and then again twice in the second semester.
I think additionally too, from a technical perspective, what you're used to in the past is a school improvement plan combined with a quality assurance review document. The technical change is that we've embedded the quality assurance process into this school improvement plan so that our instructional leadership teams are living out of this document on a more frequent basis. Additionally, they started that alignment work this summer. So we came out of the administrative retreat in June when we were getting them aligned with what our district priorities were going to be and getting them to work on primarily that rigorous learning for all section. So they have already been developing with their teams this work prior to tonight's formal approval.
Any other questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
To approve the school improvement plans 2025-2026 as presented by Dr. Pettigrew.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Pettigrew. And the last action item for tonight, Mr. Boots, welcome back.
Thank you, Madam
We
President.
have the approval of an agreement with Verkler Inc. for the long discussed Clearwater Elementary School parking lot project.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, Dr. Taylor and members of the board. I am here this evening asking approval of a standard form of agreement, AIA A104-217 standard form of agreement between the owner and contractor with Verkler Inc. for the parking lot expansion at Clearwater, the long-awaited Clearwater Elementary project. This project is being constructed in partnership with Allisonville Youth Baseball and Softball and the Glendale Soccer Association. The total financial impact is $587,800, and that funding will come from district funds along with funds from AYBS and Glendale Soccer Association. Be happy to respond to any questions.
Board, any questions? Ms. George Davis?
I may have missed it in reading it, but somewhere in here, does it say who's paying what?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Sorry. I may have missed it in reading it, but in our board docs somewhere, if you could just point me to where it says who's paying what. Because I see it,
Yeah,
I see a total, and I know all three of us are contributing to that total,
correct.
but I don't think I saw who's paying what.
Right. That was a little bit of a different agreement through a lease agreement. I can tell you what I know. That is that the AYBS and the soccer league are contributing 450 and the district up to 250.
Okay, thank you.
The lease agreement. Yeah, we approved that lease agreement. I'm only repeating that so that it can be heard. Okay, further questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the agreement with Verkler Inc. for the Clearwater Elementary School project parking lot expansion as presented by Mr. Booth.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Mr.
Comment.
Turner?
Comment. So I just want to say, and President Fry did say thank you, but say thank you to Mrs. Smith, everybody else that was involved, ABS, everybody else that was involved in this. I know it was
John Fensel.
it was a challenge, if I'll use that word. But I think it was the good of the community and the good of the district to do it this way. And so thank you, everybody that worked on this to get this over the line. So thank you.
Wholeheartedly agree. And I do think it's a great example of our commitment to the community and the community's commitment to us. If there's no further discussion, I will call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Boots. And you can stay right there as we move on to our information item for the night, construction update and supplier diversity and workforce development update. And I'll invite Mr. Winston to join Mr. Boots. Or you can stay sitting until your part. It's up to you.
May need some help. Slideshow. There we go. Thank you. Yes, and thank you, Madam President. I am here tonight to present an update of the status of the Washington Township referendum capital projects and our community engagement, workforce development, and public outreach efforts. Sorry, something's going crazy. In previous updates, I have listed a long list of projects that we have successfully completed. That long list of projects now consists of 24 projects that have been successfully completed. So rather than going through that, I'm just going to focus on the few remaining projects that we have to do. So as the saying goes, we've come a long way. I'll start with phase 3 of the high school. That project consists of renovations of the entire North Central High School facility and additions to the administration and the theater arts areas. This phase of the project is still underway and will continue to be active for about 16 months as we work our way through the remainder of the high school. When the project is done, every square footage of the high school will have been touched. Some of the phases have been completed. Those areas include science, some classrooms, science, math, art, and English rooms, the main gymnasium, the cafeteria, some special education spaces, and parts of the kitchen and serving line. The new administration area, as is pictured here, has completed and has been occupied since January. And the new theater arts completion expansion is underway and is scheduled for a December completion. On to JEL. This is what we have dubbed phase 5 is underway, and some areas have already been completed and turned over. Those areas are the automotive, welding, carpentry areas, and several of the cosmetology spaces. This project is scheduled for completion in August of 2026. The Washington Township Services Center, the previous Northview Middle School, is also underway. This work has been completed in the adult education area and most of the True North area. The final part is the administration spaces, and that will be occupied over fall break in a couple weeks. The Washington Township Police Department and child nutrition groups have been relocated to the Services Center, soon to be followed by the operations and the technology departments. Work will continue in the athletic facilities for a couple of months and in the surrounding parking areas through the summer of 2026. And I'll note we're also investigating the potential of painting the exterior of the building as part of that renovation. Okay, I'm sorry, a couple of these, I'm behind in my slides. The demolition of the bus sheds and expansion of the parking areas at Eastwood and West Lane Middle Schools have recently been completed as well. That list is now 26 completed projects. And the final one is Hilltop, and while that's not a referendum project, it is a rather high-profile project. It's nearing completion, actually. The interior renovations are complete and classes started at the beginning of this school year. The final renovation is to finish replacing the metal roof, and that is going on now and is planned to complete in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that's all we have to report on. And usually at this point, I report on what projects are in the pipeline. There are none. So now, to complete the update and presentation and to provide an update of community engagement, workforce development, and public outreach efforts, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Robin Winston.
Mr. Boots, actually, do you mind, can we take questions on that section? And then just to make it easier?
Yeah.
Because I think there'll be a lot more questions probably for Mr. Winston. So, okay, remind me, I think I heard 14 months for North Central. How much longer?
Probably 16 months. Yeah, I know. It's almost endless, but it's just a long project. It's 1 million square feet. It's big.
I know. I'm just, okay. And when will the area around what used to be door 1 be reopening to students?
The area around the old Northview.
No. So back to North Central.
Okay.
The area that is around the old door 1 that's totally blocked off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the timeline on that?
That will be open within a couple months, actually.
Okay.
We're moving some areas over fall break here, and then a few other areas are lagging a little bit behind.
Okay. Because would you agree that once that is done, the building's going to feel a lot less under construction?
Absolutely. That big facade or that big barricade structure will come down.
Because after that, it's primarily going to be more the individual kind of classroom hallways, right?
The classroom spaces, first
Right,
floor. and-
which I know has been ongoing in phases, but I guess I'm kind of looking to make sure I understand. I feel like, yes, the whole thing might go on for 16 more months, but I feel like, do you feel like we're getting pretty close to the point of it feeling a lot
yeah.
more?
Yes. When, like I say, when that big plywood protected structure comes down, then we'll be finished with the outside of the building almost entirely. So everything will be inside then from that point forward.
Good. I know many of us have had kids who have been in buildings under construction for 7 years now, which I'm not complaining.
Yes.
I'm very happy the community supported it, but I know our kids are all looking forward to moving through construction-free spaces.
Understood.
Any other questions for Mr. Boots? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say too, I had a chance to be back at West Lane today. I mean, not today, last week. And I mean, getting rid of those bus barns, that extra parking is just
Oh, isn't it nice?
such a boon.
Yeah.
For events and things. And for the community too. I know like Eastwood had last year, I went to a legislative town hall there, and I mean, it was just overflow parking everywhere. So having that extra parking, I got to see for myself what a difference that's going to make. So, thank you.
Of course.
All right, Mr. Winston, you're up.
Evening, board members. I think in your packet, you have my report, but I think, Melissa, if I scroll down here, just hit enter. Yeah, I'll leave it to you guys.
Hmm?
Tech support.
Is it at the top one? Nope, that's the one I just, oh, there it is. You were right. So good.
Oh, that's not okay. Okay. In your packet, members of the board, is a report on where we are on the newly renamed community engagement and supplier development efforts of the school district. I track these across the state, and I can tell you that what we've been able to accomplish together in Washington Township is absolutely phenomenal. You are at $126 million of spend earmarked for, let's just say, XBE firms that are in the pipeline for the utilization dollars. You've already spent 120 million, which is staggering. That has been the impetus for many of these firms that when we first began this journey together, one of the criteria was, would they be able to take the work in your district and make it a springboard to do work elsewhere in the community? And they are involved in projects at IU Health. They're involved in projects on the Leap Center up in Lebanon. But when they were asked, had they ever done any large scale construction projects, they were able to point out that they were part of your projects. So it did accomplish that goal. It also has helped those firms, quite frankly, grow. Some of those firms are telling us that they began with maybe 4 or 5 employees and now they're at 12 or 13 employees. So they are continuing to grow because, quite frankly, of the commitment that you made without mandates, without goals. But as I'm trying to advise clients we work with, because we want to make sure that our efforts reflect the community in which they're located. So if that is indeed the case, then we meet that criteria. You'll see down there the report, the most recent one that we're pulling August together, but our commitment's at 126 million. That's 24% of the overall spend, and we've already spent 120 million with firms to date. So any questions on the community engagement area there? Okay. The next area I'd like to talk to you about is career development. This is very complex. We run into issues that I'm sure you're keenly aware of every day with trying to get students placed. Some of them are tied up on coursework, so they cannot leave until 2:45 in a school day. It's awfully hard to ask somebody to go down to Schmidt Architect to be there at 5 o'clock when they can't leave until 2:45. So some of that is just as simple as they're tied up in class trying to make sure they graduate. I have spent, I think Mr. Boots can attest to it. We changed the whole strategy on trying to get students onboarded this last year. We actually went to JEL, sat in the lobby, helped them complete the form because some of our students didn't have access to a computer. And it's pretty impossible to apply for the apprenticeship program over your phone. So what I've done is I sat there with them. If Brian were here, he would tell you that we just blocked out time, and any students that were interested come down and we help them complete the forms. We also are changing it because the city of Indianapolis has a lot of vacancies, many of which are entry-level jobs that start at $21, $22 an hour. So we're encouraging them to look at those types of jobs. We spend some time, now my rule is very simple. I'll talk to the student as long as there's a parent or guardian on the phone. And we go over the application with them. One student that we did a couple Saturdays ago, his mother completed the form. Everything I asked him was like, yep, he'll do that. So can you be somewhere at 7 in the morning? Absolutely, he will be. I was like, okay, anytime you want to chime in, you can chime in and help complete this. But so far, the Midwest Central Carpenters, it was really Bill, Mr. Turner came down. They have a combine down there where the students go through a variety of tasks and skills. 2 of your students were hired that day. One starting at, I'm looking at his salary, $23.44 an hour. And he's working 40 hours a week. Daniel, also another student, called me and said that he's working overtime. So he's working around 50 hours a week, making $24 or $23 an hour. Now, they just got, and I know this because my son-in-law is a graduate of your school and he's a carpenter's journeyman, and they just got a $2.50 an hour increase in their hourly wage. So these folks will, on July 1, went up to $25 an hour. So we got to continue to do this, but it's very labor intensive, but it can work. We have 9 students right now that we are tracking in the pipeline. 2 of them are on the final list for the laborers to be coming into their program. I've got one that the ironworkers wants to hire, but didn't have a driver's license. As soon as he gets his driver's license, probably the end of this month, they're ready to place him. We went down to meet with a guy named Trini Rogers, who has Rogers Mechanical. They're a XBE-owned HVAC firm. They are the people putting in the HVAC units at the Marriott, at the Signia, at the downtown hotels. I took Brian down there with me. They have a training program where they're cycling people through their program. Trini advanced the money, about a $2 million training facility on the extreme south side. But he has made himself available that if we have students from J. Everett that are interested in coming there for training, they can come there for training. So we're trying to expand that. Also, the Carpenters Union has committed that when the JEL renovation is finished, if there's build-out space, they'd like to come in and help renovate that and put some semblance of a carpenter's training facility in JEL. And then Jim, Mr. Boots, I don't know if you know or not, but we got a $50,000 grant from Harbor Freight Tools to buy some tools for J. Everett Light to try to help them get along the way. The competitive disadvantage that we sometimes has when we're going to have people go in to apply for certain trades, they're competing with people that have come out of Area 9 or have come out of other places, Hamilton Heights, with an electrical apprentice program already in place. So the more that we can reorient and get them into those kind of trades being trained at J. Everett, the better off we'll be. The other thing that that we've learned dealing with our students is that they want to work and they are looking for opportunities. So I asked Brian if we could change it around in any student, because we have contacts. If there is a student interested in marketing, we can reach out to marketing firms and try to get them placed. So it's not just going to be rigid that, okay, you weren't interested in the trade, so good luck. If they are interested in being a CNA, then we'll reach out to the Ascension, we'll reach out to the St. Francis, we'll reach out to the contacts at IU Health to try to help them. So we're not going to try to turn any student away that is genuinely interested in trying to find work. The other thing that we offered, our firm did the referendum campaign in Louisville. I used to be chief of staff there, and we won it. 1.4 billion. But the president of Ivy Tech is Marty Polio. And he has been very interested in meeting folks. So I told Brian that because they have a carpenter's program that brings people in to get an associate degree, my son-in-law did that through Ivy Tech, no cost. Union paid for it, or actually Ton and Blank paid for it. We had to open that up more. So I'm going to try to get Brian together with Marty to learn more about what that kind of partnership could be. The other area that I just want to close on is if you look at you should just scroll down. Okay, Robin, scroll down. Okay, we're trying to scroll down. How about over here? No, let's see. Here we go. How about over? I think you scroll down over here. There you go. See, HR to the rescue. The last thing that I'd ask that you go at the very bottom of the report is the pie chart that we generate every month, provide to the superintendent and to your leadership on our spend levels. There's a lot of folks talking now about commitment to spend levels that shouldn't be earmarked. You guys did not do that from the beginning, but this is the result of it. You're at 76%. Not 76, 24% as I reported earlier, and then expenditures 26% at this point. So if we keep this up, there's still about another 20 million. Another 20 million, so 20% of that, you're another $4 million to spend, maybe $5 million more to spend ahead of us. I answer any questions that you have.
I have a question, but I do have a comment.
Go ahead, Mr. Turner.
So first, thank you, Mr. Boots, for showing us what's happening with our buildings and where we are with the construction projects. That's awesome. And then Mr. Winston, about one of the things, and you mentioned it, one of the things that the previous school boards, constitute school board, talked about when we launched this massive project, the first referendum, and what we wanted to do around workforce development and getting students involved in trades. To hear you say, which I hadn't heard before, to hear you talk about how we've helped not only the companies and people within our district or companies that may not be actually always totally located in our district. We've helped them now move up into bigger projects, other projects, increase the size. That is a great also that you brought to the table today, because that we talked about it, but we hadn't seen that happen. Because one of the things when we first started was about, XBE, they had a hard time getting in their foot in the door and getting their name on a project, getting their name started, and not being able to do the bonding because they can't do that much. But to see what we've done, what the district did, what you did with your support, is pretty amazing. And we don't have to say the 3 letters we can't say anymore, but we can say we've made a difference in the community, to your point.
Well,
The whole purpose of us pushing that was because all taxpayers are paying for all this renovation, not just certain ones. So if you're in the district, or we can help you improve your station or your company, then we should have done that, and which we did. And so I really, really do appreciate that from not only you, but the staff, because I mean, we had some ugly meetings in the beginning of how it was going, but they stuck with it, and now we're at this point where we've got to be the lighthouse for the country at this point. Right?
We are. I mean, you don't want to be chair of the Hurt Feelings Club by bragging too much about it, but we are.
Okay.
Other people are replicating. I work with other districts and they're replicating. And we use MEI, which is make education important every single day of the week. So we'll grab it that way. There are I just want to also point out to that, there are 381 firms in our vendor registration portal. That really does help a lot, because when I get a bid from Laura or somebody to say disseminate it, we disseminate it to about 2,500 firms that we have in our database. Because of our reputation that we've had over the years, we're getting about a 45–50% open rate. Now, they may open it, and I put a sentence in there that says, if it doesn't apply to your area, maybe you would share it with somebody else. So they don't walk away saying they don't know about it. So anything that you post on your site is disseminated to them. So we'll do the same thing once the RFP for legal services is out there too. Okay. Anything else I can answer?
Just a quick
Yes.
comment. I do not think that we can tell this story enough. And I think that we just need to make it such a part of our daily, weekly, monthly messages to our community as a thank you, but also to show the work that has been accomplished that seemed so daunting at the beginning and has just been phenomenal. And I would like to know where you mentioned that you're replicating this work with other school districts or businesses. I think that's information. I'd love to know who they are.
IPS is one that I'm working with right now.
But I think that also shows that we've been a leader, and I can't say we because I wasn't on the board when this started. So my predecessors and still here, I mean, it's such a phenomenal thing. And I just think that we have to continue to celebrate and talk about this because it's just been such a vital part, such a vital part in the lives of those students and what we can do through collaborative work.
Thank you. Well, one thing that came out of this also, Mr. Turner, you talked about the firms. They're better prepared to come on procurement in the future. What you all have done is prepare them. So whenever they say, I need a pro forma, in the past, they may not have had a pro forma. Now they have a pro forma already ready to be generated. So they can go grab the Excel spreadsheet, click it, make it an attachment, and get it on in. They now know how to draft a proposal response. In the past, because they usually were never involved, they never had to draft a response. And it's great to be in other districts because the onus is on them to reach out to partners that they're already working with in your district. So gone are the days of saying, we simply don't know of any firms that we could partner with. It's like, oh no, what about the people that you just did and then you've also let some people self-perform. So they've been the lead on renovation of some of your main buildings. And then the last thing I'm going to say, Mr. Boots, is I was talking today because I think this also ties to enrollment. You've got a permanent yard sign on 86th Street with the new North Central. And at 91st and College, you've got a tremendous yard sign along there. So when people drive on their way to Keystone at the Crossing or Castleton or whatever, they're driving by a state-of-the-art looking public school. And you can't deny that. So that the benefits of these new facilities have had a ripple effect on the communities in which they're located. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was the only information item tonight. That brings us to almost the end of our agenda. We do have special events and liaison reports. I'm going to go down and let Mr. Turner start first.
I have not, I've been out of pocket for the last month, so I have not attended any.
I actually attended CUBE with my colleagues here, the Council of Urban Boards of Education Conference, and it was in Los Angeles. It was great. We'll all probably say a word or two about it, but I found it to be very inspiring as usual. Attended about 5 breakout groups and several amazing general sessions that just, it's wonderful to be in that environment, but it is also an opportunity. We all said, we're doing this. We're already doing this. We're already doing this. So it was really nice to be in that environment. Attended the Spark Conference for the keynote speaker, attended the Parent Council Network meeting where half the cabinet was there doing a State of the Schools presentation. The other half was in another meeting. So after a long day of the Spark Conference, but that was really, I enjoyed that. And homecoming, which was amazing. And the football game was fabulous. And it looked like the stadium was just about full. It was fabulous. So lots of great, wonderful energy. Good stuff.
Ditto to all the stuff she did. I did. I'll talk about my CUBE experience to keep it brief. So when I went to high school here so long ago, my old assistant principal, her name is Jonique Burton. She's a principal now at LAUSD at an early college called ECA. So I got to CUBE Wednesday morning and I got to visit her and take a tour of her school. It's actually on the campus. Speaking of work-based learning, it's on the campus of a trade college, the LA Trade Tech College. So I got to visit her. They had they got to go to different classrooms and see things they do. One thing that thought was really cool, the California legislature has a similar law that Indiana has, no cell phones in school, but they take it a step further. And so if you've ever been to a concert or like the federal courthouse, you have to put your phone in one of those pouches. Well, they do that there at all the high schools and middle schools, or at least at the school I was at. And it was amazing because even at lunchtime, they can't have their phone. So in the morning when they go to their first class, they put it in the pouch, teacher locks it. And then at the end of the day, when they leave, teacher unlocks it. But it was amazing to see high school kids, unlike my own back there, not on their phones. He doesn't even know. See? And not on their phones and like actually engage and like during lunch. So they eat outside, which is because it's in LA and it's like 80 degrees. But it was just so cool to see them like actually like talking to each other and like not scrolling or like in the classroom and not like on their phone. So I really enjoyed that. I also got to see, I went on a tour to see the brand new Compton High School. So Compton USD, we got to go on a tour of a middle school and a high school, brand new high school that opened up in August, $225 million project, replacing a building that was opened in the 1930s, a campus that was opened in the 1930s with, I think, $30 or $40 million donated by Dr. Dre. And so they had a performing arts wing. So that was really, really cool. And I got to, so we went in during the school day. So there are kids there and I got to do a little rap in their recording studio. So that was cool too.
Can I throw something in? So I did ask Mr. Thompson to attend the Indie Coalition.
Yep, and I did do that. Yeah,
So appreciate you stepping in for me.
George Davis.
I was in the CUBE group. All of to echo Mrs. Orthberger, the breakout sessions that I attended, I actually felt like our staff could get up and lead, because not only are we already doing it, we are doing it better. And yes, I'm biased, but I don't care. But what I enjoyed most was Brian Stevenson. He wrote Just Mercy. It brings me to tears. The book brought me to tears. The movie brought me to tears. His speech brought me to tears. It was just so powerful. So if you have not read that book or seen the movie, do it. And then I fangirled, but I really enjoyed meeting Colin Kaepernick. And learning about Lumi, his program Lumi. I have not fully embraced AI yet, mainly because I'm afraid to do that as a doctoral student, that I might get a little too friendly with it. But his program that he's using in schools and some of the examples that the facilitators that he shared with us, that the facilitators of this program are using, just really blew my mind. And then I fangirled some more. And I truly, truly enjoyed the Spark keynote. It's rare that, number one, I'm excited to be out of my bed that early, but she really brought the house down. She really made us think about some things, just in terms of how to recognize the students in the middle. You guys have heard me talk all the time about how I had a kid who was in the middle. He wasn't a top performer. He didn't need the extra help. He just kind of floated his way through NC. So I just really enjoyed, and I feel like she really inspired teachers to laugh some more. And laughter, as they say, is good for the soul.
Oh, thank you. So I also attended CUBE. I'll say one of the things I really got out of it was being able to meet other school board members. We were able to meet with some folks from Lawrence. Got to know actually in East Chicago, the chair of the conference was from East Chicago. Got to spend some time with him, just really understand the landscape of, school board organizations and whatnot better. So I enjoyed that. And Brian Stevenson was also very impactful to me, since I'm also a public defender and he's a civil rights attorney. But he really, I think, has a great way of distilling all that stuff we talk about with equity and DEI and achievement and, outcomes, like, to just distilling it to, like, human, like humanity at the base of all of it. That was great. Let's see, I sadly had to miss homecoming and Spark, but I did participate in High Five Friday, and I'm proud to say that I dragged Dr. Taylor along with me because we were scheduled to meet that morning. So we spent a half an hour high-fiving the students prior to our meeting. And I got to take in the West Lane 8th grade football game last week where they did win the district championship. That quarterback's got a real nice arm on him. So looking forward to him being a freshman here next year. And that's it for me. With that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor? All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.